Hey, Patriot America. Welcome to Patriot Life with Candice Keller, where we want you to know that we've had enough talk, enough tyranny. We want you to get involved, get educated, or get out of the way. That is our motto from now on. So we had a great week last week. Wow, that was an amazing. We had Matt Truella here on our podcast last week, Doctrine of the Lesser Magistrates, a book that I highly recommend. Book that changed my life, and got to spend the evening with him picking his brain, and wow, found out a lot of information we need to know. So let's get right into it today. Let's talk about the Equality Act. We've not talked about this yet, and of course this was a bomb that the U.S. House dropped on February 25th. What a train wreck this is, the Equality Act. I believe it's House Bill 1. So the Equality Act would fund abortion. This already passed the House. It would require that all pastors must now hire atheists if they apply for jobs. All churches must allow men into women's restrooms, locker rooms, dressing rooms. This repeals the Religious Freedom Act of 1993. Pastors would now have to officiate at homosexual weddings. It also protects the LGBTQ community over people of faith in housing and public accommodations, bakeries, florists, and the like. You would have to change the principles of your faith or be subject to a lawsuit. Remember when Hillary Clinton told us we were clinging to our guns and the Bible? It's all that. Women would now have no rights because essentially there's no gender. So this would eliminate all scholarships. We've been talking about this, heard this on the news, of course, a lot. No grants or business loans for women would be existent because women would essentially be eliminated. I really appreciate that. Parents would have no authority over their children regarding physicians' decisions over transgender change or puberty blockers if children ask for it. Children could literally seek medical counsel without parental involvement, even as young as 10 years old. So, the U.S. Senate, I don't believe, has passed this yet. If they have, it doesn't matter. They're going to. The President, Biden, will sign the resolution immediately. And if it works as it does in the Ohio House, with an emergency clause. I'm not sure if it works that way in Congress, but that means it would go into effect immediately rather than a 90-day waiting period. So this is a huge emergency, and we need for this, thankfully, the 10th Amendment protects us again. The states can now intervene. They can always intervene. Keep in mind, the federal government has severely limited power over the states, severely limited. And remember, the states created the federal government. It is not the other way around. The federal government did not create the states. We started out as colonies, then we became states, and the federal government came from that. That being the case, the states are now in charge of what we want to go on here. So when a law is created like this that is unconstitutional, the states can literally rise up and say, we're not doing that here. Ohio's not doing that here. Let that sink in. Amazingly enough, it always comes down, seemingly every time, to the legislature, the state legislature. So in Ohio, we have 99 representatives, 33 senators, 132 people running the state. Keep in mind, each state's legislature has extraordinary power to hold off these kinds of overreaching laws that the federal government, the big bully, tries to push on us. So here's what you need to say when you call your state representative. Get online, find out who your state rep is and your senator. And you should know them anyway. But if you don't know them, find out who they are, get their phone number. It's all online. And here's what you need to say to them. We're watching you. And if you fail to listen to us and act immediately, we will perceive this as an attack on our religious freedom. Since my faith is the most important thing in my life, I'm watching you. These are terrifying words to say for a legislator to hear. This is what you need to say. Next year, when you all run, and they all run next year, they always run on the even year, 2022. Filing deadline is February in Ohio, less than a year away. Next year when you run, I'm going to base my vote for you on this single issue. Did you hold off the Unconstitutional Equality Act, or did you stand down and act like you didn't know what was going on? I have a God-given right to worship as I please, and I want my representative to understand that. This is what you need to say to your state rep. We can send you this script, by the way. Put it on our website if it's not already on there. And you need to say this: my pastor is under no authority of the state or federal government to violate their God-given right to operate according to privacy and the tenets of our faith. If you fail to be proactive on the part of me, the voter, the electorate, I will remember this come election time, and I will vote for your opponent, or I will run against you. This is what you say to your legislator. The most terrifying words that any legislator can hear is this: I live in your district. I voted for you. When you say that to your state rep or your state senator, believe me, you have their attention. And they want to keep you happy because they want to keep their seat. If they know they're being held accountable, they will act accordingly. So you need to let them know you strongly oppose this resolution, the Equality Act, which restricts the rights of religious freedom and is a violation of our Constitution. I'm asking you to act immediately to introduce legislation stopping this measure in Ohio. Let me tell you something about legislation. It's amazing how quickly a state can pass something. Now, it's required in Ohio that a bill go through 3 committee hearings minimum. But the truth is, if that speaker wants to race a bill through, they can do it in hours if they want to. We see it happen all the time. And then bills that are, a little controversial, they can stretch it into weeks, if not years. They really can get done what they want to do. Now, and so what you're saying is that you want your state, in our case, Ohio, to be a sanctuary state for those who want religious freedom and people of faith. This is what you're saying. And so now you're asking your legislator to do what they were elected to do, and that is to represent you and speak for you. Remember, they're a representative. The lesser magistrate is to listen to you, the voter. Please remember, we got our website up last Saturday. It's only been up a week. PatriotAmerica76.com. You can go and find a lot of these documents that I'm talking about on our website. And we want to be there for you to help you have your voice heard. Now, on to the next subject. The next subject is this. Part of Patriot America's agenda is to encourage regular citizens to run for public office. Now, I know you may be sitting there thinking, I don't want to run for public office. But the truth is, you either need to run or support people to run that you know are going to speak for you. Now, in Butler County, where I am from, this year in 2021, there are 137 open seats in local offices. Isn't that incredible? 137 open seats. These are small local races. I'm talking about school board, city council, township trustees, some mayor seats. There are 380,000 people in Butler County. A lot of open seats. Some of the school board seats have been open for a long time. They need to be filled by constitutional conservatives. They need to be filled by you. And we want to help you do that. We're there to help you. Remember, my email address is patriotamerica76@gmail.com. Now, and you can, of course, write us and ask us anything you want to about how to run and how to do this, and we can help you do that. There is a list. I have it in front of me, but of course you can't see it because the print's really small. Looks like this. You can print it off of the Board of Elections website, and this can be done in any county. Go look and see what seats are open in your county. And, you may live in a township or a city that has an open seat. Nobody's even bothering to run. Go in there and run and take it. If it is not posted on your Board of Elections website, call your county Board of Elections and tell them you want them to email you the list of open seats. They have to do that. That's what they're there for. That's what they're paid to do. So they need to get that to you. Some of the positions are paid, some are not. Some offer benefits, some do not. Some are contested, and some are even vacant. So running at the local level, remember all politics is local. All politics is local. Local offices are a springboard for higher office. It's how you rise to the top, and it's how we can take our state back. This is the only way we can take our state back. So the legislature is full of former school board members, commissioners, mayors, police chiefs, all kinds of people that started at the local level. Remember, Jimmy Carter started on school board. George W. Bush started on Central Committee. We're going to talk about Central Committee the next time that I talk to you on my podcast, but I want you to know that the purpose of Patriot America is we want to encourage the regular people, the citizens, to run for local public office. When I was taking Constitution classes, my first General Assembly, I asked my teacher, why didn't the founders want all legislators to be attorneys? And she said they did not want the legislature to be made up of lawyers. They wanted the regular people to rule over the regular people. When you have all attorneys, and I love attorneys, I have tons of friends who are attorneys, but you cannot have a legislature full of attorneys. You need waitresses, ex-school, former school teachers, former nurses, doctors, people who are retired, young people. You need everybody representing everybody because they're the only ones who understand what your life is like. Another point I wanted to make to you today is this. You as a citizen of this country and as the state of Ohio, I'm speaking, of course, to you from Ohio, must remember that these people work for you. Your county commissioners, your health director, all of these people are on the payroll and you're paying them. So they work for you. If there are decisions that are being made as to the height of your fences, the cemetery upkeep, your local park maintenance, all of these things are handled by local officials. This is an indication that you need to be involved at the community level. So start thinking about, and actually just do it. Start showing up at school board meetings. There's nothing more interesting, nothing more terrifying to school board members than to see a big bunch of parents coming in, watching what they're doing. And you need to be watching them. Look at the shape our schools are in right now. Half of them aren't even open. So show up at school board meetings. Show up at Emergency Management Association meetings. These people are extremely important in our community. Go to your commission meetings. They usually meet twice a month, I think, maybe every other week. Go to commission meetings. Find out what's happening in your county. Go to your city council meetings. Show up at your township trustee meetings. Townships are the most perfect form of government, I think, in the country. I love townships. I was born and raised in a township. They're like a little kingdom. They're awesome. And find out what's going on. And if something's going on you don't like, you have a right to speak up because remember, they work for you. And that is, on one other note, one other thing I need to tell you. Last election, we did not work the polls like we should have. This is another thing Patriot America wants to encourage you to do. Volunteer to work the polling locations. We've got a filing deadline in this year, 2021, August. I believe it's the 2nd. And the election is November the 3rd. Work the polling locations. Volunteer to work. I think you do get paid $100 and something to do it. We need to have accountability. Believe me, I live in a county where Dominion voting was used. We really need accountability from those people who are working the polls, people who are handling the votes. The rule is for every Democrat, you got to have a Republican, and that's the way it should work. So I know this is a lot of information today, and I'm happy to talk to you about this further, but I've crammed as much as I can in today. At our next Patriot America meeting, we don't have a date on it yet, we are literally going to break up into workshops where we teach you Politics 101, how to run for office and win the local level. We're going to have a 45-minute Constitution class. Then we'll switch the groups off. And we're also planning a pastor's breakfast to get our pastors together and get the churches straightened out on what they can and cannot do. So with that, I feel like I've been talking nonstop. A lot of information there. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for hanging with me. We've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get it done because you're the Patriots. Thanks so much. See you next time.